Right now on News 3 Now this morning, we're tracking breaking news. One man is dead after an officer-involved shooting. We're live from the scene with the very latest. And a man was tracked down by canines after threatening to shoot people. The latest on that ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, October 28th. I'm Josh Spreiter. Leah Linscheid will be back with me tomorrow. We're going to start this half hour with breaking news. One person is dead after an officer-involved shooting overnight. Keely Arthur is live on Madison's west side with the latest on the investigation. Keely?
Good morning, Josh. Yes, we are just off of Raymond Road on the city's west side. Now, investigators are here focusing at this 6500 block. That's where the officer-involved shooting happened last night. The Department of Criminal Investigation is on the scene, just out of frame. Madison PD kind of blocking off a part of the road as investigators work this morning. We saw them earlier kind of combing through the lawn, also using metal detectors. Now, this all started last night when Dane County Dispatch received a call for a weapons violation. The 6500 block of Raymond Road, that's where police responded. Madison Police Chief Vic Walls said a 63-year-old white male with a gun started to fire at officers, and that's when another officer returned that fire. Now, the subject did die later after being transported to a hospital. As we mentioned, Raymond Road, specifically at Brittany Court, is shut down now. Police Chief Vic Wall, saying that this is a tragedy for everybody involved, but they're really committed to having a transparent investigation. Once the DCI does their investigation, they're going to turn their findings over to the Dane County District Attorney's Office. This could impact you. As we mentioned, parts of Raymond Road are shut down. One lane is reopened, but if you use this road, you might want to account for some more time as you head out. Josh?
All right, Keely Arthur live on Madison's west side. Keely, thank you. And to our other big story of the morning, we've got some snow to talk about, and actually a couple rounds possible this week.
Yeah, 2 different times to get some snow this week, so turning pretty active in the weather department. Take a look at our current conditions. Josh, it's 41 degrees outside and cloudy, so actually not terribly cool. That sunrise, though, hard to believe. 7:27 this morning. Sun comes up so late this time of the year. It'll get better next week after we turn the clocks back. Again, cloudy skies for the area. No precipitation yet this morning, but we will be waiting for some rain, quickly changing over to some snow tonight. Temperatures will only climb a couple of degrees today, so it is going to be about 20 degrees colder than it was yesterday. We do have alert days in the forecast. As we mentioned, that snow coming overnight tonight, creating for some potentially slick roads tomorrow morning. It will likely impact the morning commute. And then for trick-or-treating on Thursday, another storm bringing maybe some rain and snow to southern Wisconsin. So stay tuned for that one. Now look at your first alert traffic maps. Outside of the road closure on Raymond Road, there are no other issues to report right now. Looks like travel heading into Madison is still going at the posted speeds.
I would imagine that tomorrow's going to look a little different on those maps.
Yeah, plan ahead right now. You're going to need to allow yourself some extra time.
That first one is just always, it's awful.
The learning curve is very steep.
All right. You heard it right here.
Yeah.
Plan some extra time tomorrow. Thanks, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Right now, a canine track is credited with helping police arrest a man who threatened to shoot people last night. Madison police say the man was pulling a gun out of his jacket, pointing it at people, threatening to shoot. It happened at Gene Park's place near the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County just before 7. When officers got there, the man ran away, and as he was running, police say he fell and a round was shot from the gun. No one was hit by that round. The canine track found him within an hour. Right now, a 47-year-old man is dead after reportedly attacking a woman in a home. Lodi police officers were sent to a Sunset Drive near Lodi High School around 6 o'clock Saturday night. A 37-year-old woman told police the man she lives with attacked her and choked her. Police say she was able to get out of the house, but then heard what sounded like a gunshot. The man was found dead from a suspected gunshot wound. Lodi police are still investigating. Madison police are looking for the driver who they say shot a hole into a woman's car while driving on the Beltline. It happened around 8:30 Saturday night near Fish Hatchery Road. A 52-year-old woman was driving westbound when she says she heard a single gunshot and noticed a hole in one of her windows. Luckily, no one was hurt. Right now, the only information Madison police have is that the car involved is small and dark-colored. Police say a woman who might have dementia is missing this morning. 67-year-old Amy Rupnow went missing around 1 p.m. yesterday on High Point Road. She was walking with her caregiver near Kids Express Childcare when she tripped over some branches in the woods. Her caregiver went to get help, but then when they came back, Rupnow was gone. If you see her, you're asked to call Madison Police. More local news now. You get a chance to get a say in the next search for the person in charge of Madison schools this week. The district is hosting 2 community input sessions as they look for the next superintendent. Dr. Jane Belmore has served as interim superintendent this year after Jennifer Cheatham stepped down at the end of last school year. The school board has been working on finding a permanent replacement, but wants to know what you think is important in a candidate. There are 2 chances to make your voice heard this week. The first is tomorrow night at 7 at Memorial High School, and the second is Wednesday night at La Follette High School at the same time. There's also an online survey you can fill out if you can't make it to either meeting. Well, the Packers are heading into the week with another win under their belt. The Packers and Chiefs are both dealing with missing pieces right now. No Davante Adams for the Packers, and Kansas City was missing their starting quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. Green Bay had a 14-0 lead, but after some missed tackles, Matt Moore managed to help his team tied up and push the Chiefs to a lead by a field goal at the half. In the fourth quarter, it was all tied up. Aaron Rodgers was getting pressured on 3rd and 1 and managed to throw it to Williams in the corner of the end zone, putting the Packers back in the lead. But the Chiefs, well, they tied it up again with 8 minutes left in the fourth. Aaron Jones took it 67 yards for the touchdown that put the Packers back with the lead. He led the team in rushing and receiving yards. The Badgers, meanwhile, are waking up another 5 spots lower in the AP rankings this morning after losing to Ohio State this weekend. They dropped to 18th in the country. LSU jumped over Alabama to take the top spot. Penn State also moving up, now in the top 5, but head coach Paul Chryst is just focusing on the month of November.
It's 4 Big Ten West opponents, all 4 really big games. Obviously, you got to be in each week, just in that moment. But it's a great opportunity for us to finish, and I like this group a ton. I still do, right? And no one said it would be easy. It never is. But we'll come out of this thing, and there's a lot of substance in that locker room, and that's a group that I look forward to having a good, productive bye week, and then getting a chance to attack November.
The Badgers are off this week and are back in Madison to play Iowa on November 9th. Wildfires continue to ravage Southern California, and hurricane-force winds are only making matters worse this week. Coming up, we're hearing from evacuees impacted by the blaze. And say it ain't snow. Hattie's tracking a winter storm system that could make a mess of the roads this week. Her alert day forecast is straight ahead on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the patio, where temperatures are still right around 40 degrees this morning. So not actually that chilly right now, but waking up this time tomorrow morning could look quite a bit different. We're expecting our first accumulating snow of the season coming tonight. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited a little bit for that. Those first snowflakes are always fun. We do have alert days in the forecast, though, because that snow may come at a bit of a price. It'll impact the morning commute tomorrow, so plan some extra time to get to your destination and maybe remember those snow driving skills. The roads could be slushy or slippery early tomorrow. And then we'll watch another storm for Thursday. This one bringing the potential for, again, some accumulating snow, but also the potential for some rain. A little too early to pinpoint the exact track and the amounts with this system, but we'll watch it carefully over the next week. Either way, it's likely going to impact trick-or-treaters Thursday evening. Now, here's a look at the probability of precipitation. Again, right around 0 through most of the day today. After 6 o'clock, that chance starts to ramp up pretty quickly, and late this evening into the overnight hours, pretty likely that we're going to see snowflakes here in southern Wisconsin. Accumulation is expected to be anywhere from 1 to 3 inches. Again, most spots coming in the 1 to 2 inch range for southern Wisconsin. But again, those first snowflakes of the season, always a little tough to deal with. Here's a look at the snow on the map this morning. It's actually just south of Denver and eastern parts of Colorado this morning. That snow is due to that area of low pressure that's just a little bit further to the south and east. It'll ride along that cold front today and lift northward into Wisconsin tonight. Now, our current temperatures, as I mentioned, starting off on kind of a mild note this morning. Some spots have dropped into the 30s. It's 38 in the Dells, 39 in Mineral Point and Platteville. Still 41, though, here in Madison. Your future track forecast model shows you mostly cloudy skies today. Temperatures aren't going to move too far. We'll only be in the low 40s this afternoon. Again, clouds through the evening hours with that snow starting to spread in after 8 or 9 o'clock. It covers the area through the evening hours with the exception of far southeastern Wisconsin. Maybe warm enough along the lakeshore there to see all rain from this particular event. Winds down pretty quickly early Tuesday morning, but again, it will impact the drive time tomorrow. 38 is our high on Tuesday and Wednesday. There's a chance for some mixed precipitation Wednesday, especially later in the day. And then on Thursday, that next potential storm, we've added an alert day into the forecast because it will impact trick-or-treaters Thursday evening. Let's get a look at your traffic report now. No weather issues this morning. We'll send it over to Jason Stone for all the details. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No problems traveling on the Beltline so far this morning. Expect some minor congestion on the Stoughton and Verona interchanges. There's moderate traffic on Verona Road right now. All other routes into Madison and around Dane County are running smooth. And there are no issues getting downtown as the roads on the Isthmus and campus are mostly clear. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Hey, thank you very much. Right now, this is a live look at Raymond Road on Madison's west side, where police are still on scene after an officer-involved shooting overnight. We do know one person is dead, and there's no threat to the public right now. Keely Arthur is monitoring the situation and will bring us updates on this breaking news from investigators as they come in. Also breaking overnight, California's governor is declaring a statewide emergency as wildfires continue to wreak havoc on residents and wildlife. Just take a look at some of the devastation these fires are causing. Hurricane-force winds are fueling them. Right now, crews are working to keep the Kincaid fire from jumping Highway 101 and hitting an area that hasn't been burned in 80 years. Thousands are under evacuation orders with many pets in tow, while others can't bring themselves to leave home.
To think of it coming through Healdsburg and Windsor and into Santa Rosa, that's a little overwhelming and scary.
It's your castle, it's your sanctuary. And anytime that's threatened, you know, you're going to fight as long as you can.
2 firefighters suffered burn injuries yesterday while fighting the fires in the northern part of the state. The Kincaid fire doubled in size Sunday, and its containment slipped from 10 to 5% because of how fast it's growing. A lawmaker is resigning from Congress after admitting to an inappropriate relationship with a campaign staff manager. California Representative Katie Hill admitted to the relationship last week and says it happened before she entered Congress. This comes after a conservative blog released intimate photos of Hill earlier this month, alleging she and her husband had a separate relationship with an unnamed female campaign staffer. The 32-year-old Democrat was elected to Congress last year and served as the vice chairwoman of the House Oversight Committee. This morning, President Trump is celebrating the death of ISIS leader al-Baghdadi, but an American general says the fight is far from over. The president said in an address to the nation that the terrorist group's leader died in a raid led by American commandos in northeastern Syria. The violent raid took about 4.5 hours and ended in al-Baghdadi's death. But there are still up to 18,000 ISIS members in Iraq and Syria, some of which recently escaped after the U.S. pulled troops from northern Syria. 2 Americans were slightly injured in that raid. 5 people around Baghdadi were killed, others brought out as prisoners. 11 other children were unharmed. Bipartisan praise for the U.S. mission is being undercut. The president said yesterday the White House didn't tell some key Democrats about the raid that resulted in al-Baghdadi's death. This goes against tradition for high-profile operations like this one. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he heard about the death after seeing the news on TV. Meanwhile, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff said he wasn't told about the raid before it happened. President Trump said they didn't brief lawmakers because they didn't want the information to be leaked to the news. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other House Democrats launched an impeachment inquiry into the president back in September. Ending an eventful day for the president, he and the First Lady took in Game 5 of the World Series in Washington, D.C. President Trump was met with boos and cheers alike. Some fans even took the opportunity to hold up signs. One said "Veterans for Impeachment" behind home plate. This was the president's first Major League Baseball game as president. Hattie's keeping her eye on a snowy forecast overnight tonight that could impact your morning commute tomorrow. Plus, we'll introduce you to a mailman who's battling cancer for a second time and how his community is stepping up to help him. It is 6:18. You're watching News 3 Now this morning. We'll be right back. 6:21 on a Monday morning. All is calm for now. We've got some snow to talk about. I feel like last year it actually came a little bit earlier than what it is this year, so it could be worse, I guess.
I mean, it's the end of October. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility, but I don't know. Are we ever really ready for that first snow of the season?
Especially when we're driving. That's always the biggest issue.
I know, so keep that in mind. Tomorrow morning is going to be the morning that you'll want to pay close attention. This morning, no issues weather-wise. It's actually pretty mild. Temperatures in the 40s here in Madison, Monroe. Janesville's actually 43 degrees. We have 37 in Mineral Point, 39 in Platteville, and then up to the north, 37 in the Dells. So not terribly cold in most spots this morning. Remind the kids, though, that they're definitely going to want a jacket today. Yesterday, highs were close to 60. Today won't be anything like that. Highs only in the low 40s this afternoon. Quite a few clouds through the day as well. And you might want to get that snow gear ready because we do have the potential for accumulating snow tonight. This is overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. You see a general 1 to 3 inch snow total. An alert day is in the forecast because this snow will likely impact the morning commute. Have a wonderful Monday.
All right, Hattie, thank you. Right now, the U.S. Postal Service is beefing up hiring to handle holiday packages and retirements, and they're on a hiring spree in Rock County. USPS is looking for at least 14 more workers to bolster the 138 employees working out of Janesville, at least for the next month or so during the holiday season. Officials say extra recruitment efforts and hiring fairs are necessary now because the Postal Service's work has shifted so much with more online shopping. A local post office worker is continuing to bring his community their mail even after being diagnosed with cancer for the second time. Sam Liddy delivers over 400 packages on his 125-mile route for the Cazenovia Postal Office. He's been doing that for 32 years and made connections to just about everyone in that community. Friends and family say he cares deeply for everyone, and now the community decided it was his turn to be taken care of.
And they've been running tests and finally got the diagnosis and went from one hospital to another hospital because that was more than they could handle, and they want more tests. And yeah, we're still doing tests, but they're talking surgery within the next 4 weeks.
The community decided to do something good to help him out. Nearly all of Cazenovia, a village of 318 people, showed up to an auction benefiting Liddy yesterday, surprising him. His daughter even flew in from Germany to be with the family. Liddy is planning on retiring from the postal office at the end of January. We expect to learn more about ongoing efforts to fix Boeing's troubled jets and how the company is working to make them safer. Looking ahead, the company's CEO, Dennis Muhlenberg, is set to testify on Capitol Hill tomorrow and Wednesday. He'll be grilled on the company's ongoing efforts to fix the grounded 737 MAX planes. It'll be Muhlenberg's first public hearing since 2 MAX jet crashes killed 346 people just months apart. Right now, the owner of Louis Vuitton and Givenchy is reportedly offering more than $14 billion to buy Tiffany. Bloomberg says the all-cash bid was made earlier this month and values the legendary jeweler at around $120 a share. That's a more than 20% premium over Friday's closing price. Bloomberg says Tiffany is evaluating the bid, but the Financial Times reports Tiffany is expected to reject it as too low. Just about 6:25 right now on a Monday morning, and still ahead for us, we've got the top 3 things you need to know this morning before you head out the door. And also ahead, we're continuing to bring you the latest on breaking news overnight after a man was killed in an officer-involved shooting. This is a live look at the scene right now, and coming up, Healy Arthur will have the latest from police. Keep watching News 3 Now this morning.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Monday, October 28th. I'm Josh Breiter. Lee Linscheid will be back with me tomorrow. We start this half hour with breaking news, an update to breaking news. We're now hearing from police after an officer-involved shooting overnight. Keely Arthur is live on Madison's west side with the very latest. Keely?
Good morning, Josh. Yes, the scene's still very much active. As you said, we are on the city's west side off of Raymond Road. Authorities focusing their investigation at the 6500 block of Brittany Place. That's where this officer-involved shooting happened last night. Now, Dane County Dispatch says at around 9:16, they received a call for a weapons violation at this road, on Raymond Road, rather. And Madison Police Chief Vic Wall said a 63-year-old white man with a gun began firing at officers. That's when officers returned the fire. The subject was shot and later taken to a hospital. He died, though, there. Now, Raymond Road at Brittany Place is currently shut down, or parts of it are, for this scene, for this investigation. Here's what Chief Vic Wall said as we spoke to him around midnight.
It's difficult for the community. It's a tragedy for the family of the subject. It's a tragedy for the officers who were involved in the incident. It's very difficult for all involved, so it's nothing that any of us want to go through, but we can just have to commit to doing a transparent investigation, assisting DCI as they do their work, and being as transparent as we can moving forward.
Now, the Department of Criminal Investigations is handling this, as we mentioned. They're then going to turn their findings, Josh, over to the Dane County office, and they're going to then decide what to do with that. As we mentioned, there is some closures here, but the scene is very active. Police have opened up one lane, although you still might want to plan a little extra time if you use Raymond Road on your morning commute.
Keely Arthur live on Madison's west side. Keely, thank you. Here are three other things you need to know today. Dallas police are investigating after a shooting happened after a vigil for Kevin Berry, one of the people shot and killed in a shooting at a homecoming party in Greenville Saturday night. Witnesses at last night's shooting say they heard dozens of gunshots. No one was injured, but several cars were damaged. Berry was a 23-year-old dad of two with another baby on the way. He was at the party after taking his kids to see their mother. The Houston Astros are one win away from winning the World Series. They beat the Washington Nationals 7-1 last night. Yordan Alvarez, Carlos Correa, and George Springer each had two-run home runs for Houston. Game 6 takes place tomorrow at Houston's Minute Maid Park. The Nationals need to come out of the top to force a seventh game. The third story we're monitoring this morning, teens who use candy or fruit-flavored e-cigarettes are more likely to stick with vaping and vape more. That's according to a new study from the University of Southern California. Several states have banned flavors in recent months to combat the teen vaping epidemic. All right, those are your top three things you need to know today. Hattie's here now with a snowy forecast tonight. It's coming?
Yes, it's coming.
Oh boy.
Snow is in the forecast. I know that four-letter S word. We have an alert day in the forecast. Snow begins tonight. Accumulations of 1 to 3 inches, which could make for a slippery commute for Tuesday morning. Let's take a look at the probability of precipitation. Again, getting pretty high with snow becoming likely as we head towards midnight tonight. It'll stay dry through the morning commute and most likely through the evening commute today. So no issues traveling around the area through the day today. Here's a look at your out-the-door forecast. Cloudy skies this morning. We are going to stick with a lot of clouds through the day. It's going to be much cooler than it was yesterday. We were flirting with 60 degrees yesterday afternoon with that sunshine. Today we'll be struggling to get out of the low 40s. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps. We'll show you what's happening on area roads. Again, outside of those closures on Raymond Road due to that incident overnight, no other major issues to report. Some brake lights showing up on the Beltline at Stoughton Road. Looks like it is a little slow on Verona Road as you try to get on the eastbound side of the Beltline as well. Here's a look at your drive times and speeds. 151 heading towards the Beltline, just a little bit slower than normal right now. And that's your first alert traffic.
Hattie, thank you. It is a big day for members of the United Auto Workers across the country. They're headed back to the factories this morning after the 40-day strike against GM came to an end on Friday. The Flint tool and die production will resume first shift this morning. In Saginaw, normal production on third shift resumed at the metal casting plant last night. At the Flint assembly plant, production began for third shift workers last night, as well as the Flint Metal Center and Flint Engine. Third shift production also began last night for both Bay City and Saginaw plants. We continue to monitor breaking news overseas as the European Union is agreeing to delay Brexit until January 31st, 2020. The departure would have been due in just 3 days on October 31st. Now, this is the second time the deadline has changed since the 2016 referendum on Britain's departure from the EU. 6:33 is your time right now. Coming up in the morning sprint, our Keely Arthur is live with how the investigation into an officer-involved shooting could impact your commute this morning. Plus, how to prepare and protect your kiddos from registered sex offenders as they go trick-or-treating this week. You're watching News 3 Now this morning. We thank you for that, and we'll be right back. Welcome back at 6:37. We've been asking you to share your morning with us, and Ken Barlow sent us this picture and said this is an awesome dawn over the cornfields in Whitewater, and we agree. That is just a fantastic shot and just what we need to see on a Monday morning. Thank you so much for sharing, Kevin. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it on the Channel 3000 Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram feeds, and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. Right now, this is a live look at Raymond Road on Madison's west side, where police are still on scene after an officer-involved shooting overnight. We do know one person is dead and there is no threat to the public right now. Westbound Raymond Road is still down to just one lane this morning as crews are still on scene, so that might have a little bit of an effect on your morning commute. Keely Arthur is monitoring that situation and will bring us updates as they come in. Going door to door can be exciting for children trick-or-treating, but their safety could be compromised if they end up on the doorstep of a convicted sex offender. Out of 2,200 home visits in Wisconsin last year, more than 40 sex offenders were arrested for not following the rules. Everyone on that list was given a Halloween contract outlining what they can and cannot do during trick-or-treat hours.
A couple of those are no decorations inside or outside the home, no lighted porches, no candy, no costumes of any kind, anything like that.
I love that they do these checks. That way, a parent that is knowledgeable know for a fact, okay, I know for a fact we're never going to touch this house right here.
Most follow Halloween guidelines, but agents might have to do a little extra work on some cases. Local law enforcement and groups in the Milwaukee area have been going out to do compliance checks for nearly 300 high-risk sex offender homes. Parents, you can also check the sex offender registry to check for offenders in your neighborhood. A Halloween fundraiser is helping take away the fear for families in the hospital. Money donated at Spirit Halloween Shops goes toward the Child Life program at the American Family Children's Hospital. Child Life specialists help explain procedures to children and families and make them feel at home in a new place with a new routine. Patients like Grace and her family say the program went a long way in making them feel more comfortable.
Child Life doesn't just work with the children, they worked with us and eased our mind and made every process much easier.
The fundraiser is happening at area Spirit shops, including East and West Town in Madison and locations in Beloit and Janesville. Well, trending now, it is spooky season, which means a lot of people are going out to do festive things like apple picking, going to a pumpkin patch, or maybe touring a haunted house. But what if your house was really haunted? Would you still live there? Move.org surveyed a group of adults to find out. Only about 45% of those they talked to believe in ghosts. But of those 45%, most say they have lived in a haunted house. For most people, this means strange sounds and scary noises. 23% say they've moved because they didn't want to live in a haunted house. The survey also found that around 1 in 4 Americans would live in a house where a murder happened. All right, 6:40 is your time right now, and you're going to want to bundle up the kiddos this morning as we've got a colder day on the way today before some snowfall is expected tonight. We'll tell you when you're going to bring those boots out and also probably the scraper as well. That's coming up in Hattie's forecast. But first, it is October 28th, and we're going to want to say happy birthday to Malia, Serenity, and all the other kids turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with News 3 Now this morning.
Look who's
Welcome back now at 6:43. Another live look here on Madison's west side after an officer-involved shooting overnight. This happened on Raymond Road, which is down to just one lane this morning. So if you do use that on your morning commute, I would recommend using a different direction. Keely Arthur will be live on the latest with this breaking news coming up in the morning sprint.
And now for a look at that first alert forecast. We do have some alert days in the forecast. Yesterday, a beautiful day. Now, things are going to change as we go through this week. Normal highs would still be in the 50s, but you see these numbers. We don't even get out of the 30s for most of this week. So turning significantly colder as we close out the month of October. And we're also talking snowflakes. That's right. You heard me right. The first accumulating snowflakes of the season are expected tonight. Again, overnight tonight into early Tuesday morning, we could see 1 to 3 inches of snow accumulation here across southern Wisconsin, and that will likely impact the morning commute. So an alert day in the forecast for Tuesday morning. Then on Thursday, which is Halloween, there is another storm system that will likely impact the area. Still a little early to pin down the exact track of this system, but it could bring some rain, but most likely snow to southern Wisconsin, and that will impact trick-or-treating Thursday evening. So stay tuned to the forecast. Many changes coming up. Here's a look at your GFS Future Track forecast model. Across the entire upper Midwest, we start off with cloudy skies today, and through the evening hours, or at least the early evening hours, things stay pretty quiet here. Snow spreads into the area pretty quickly though, and continues overnight, but comes to an end early on Tuesday. We do have some sunshine in the forecast Tuesday afternoon, so some of that snow will likely melt. Now, mainly quiet through Wednesday, but late Wednesday, that's when we start to see the impacts of that next storm system, with possibly some rain or snow moving in Wednesday evening, and then for Thursday, really ramping up as the storm system passes to our south and east. We will likely see a strong north wind with snow and pretty cold conditions Thursday evening. I guess this one moves out by early Friday. Here's a look at that trick-or-treating forecast, though. Keep in mind, things may change a little bit here or there, but it is going to be cold. Starting off at 5, temperature around 36, will likely be windy with some snowflakes flying. Temps drop into the low 30s by late in the evening, so it is going to be kind of a chilly and probably snowy Halloween for us here in southern Wisconsin. Speaking of snow, there is some snow on the radar map. This is south of Denver this morning. This storm system is going to continue to organize and move towards the north and east through the day. This area of low pressure riding along that cold front heading into southern Wisconsin. Still pretty cloudy, so we're not able to see much on the sky camera shots yet this morning, but temperatures are near 40. A mild start to the day. We're not going to move much though. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. Mostly cloudy with temperatures hovering in the upper 30s and low 40s right into the afternoon. Should be able to get home from work, no issues, but then that snow spreads in overnight tonight, coming to an end by about 4 o'clock here in Madison, but there will still likely be some snow on the ground for the morning commute. So plan ahead for tomorrow. You'll want to allow some extra time to get to your destination. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We then quiet down for the upcoming weekend, and I'll end on a positive note, Josh. We get an extra hour of sleep. Woo! Saturday night into Sunday morning. That means that we turn the clocks back 1 hour, but it starts to get dark pretty early in the evenings. Here's our pet walk forecast. Furby can't be bothered with a walk. Look at this. The owners that sent in the picture said that Furby is watching News 3 Now this morning. This is how he likes to do it. He's 16 years old.
I think Furby heard the forecast and that knocked him out.
Yeah, maybe.
Thanks, Addie.
He's not the only one.
The morning sprint is up next, but first here's Tony DeCopa with what's ahead on CBS this morning. Hi, Tony.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS this morning, we look at what's next for ISIS in the wake of its leader's death, plus what U.S. intelligence officials hope to learn from the evidence taken in the weekend raid. Also, what you need to know to protect your bank account from a growing and sophisticated texting scam. We'll see you at 7.
It is 6:50, time for the morning sprint as our team brings you the latest on breaking news overnight. We start this morning with Keely Arthur live on Madison's west side with more on an officer-involved shooting. Keely?
Morning, Josh. Yes, we are just off of Raymond Road. That's where the Department of Criminal Investigations is looking into this scene, 6500 block of Brittany Place. That's where an officer-involved shooting happened overnight. Now, Dane County Dispatch says at around 9:16 p.m. it received a call for a weapons violation. Madison Police Chief Vic Wall said a 63-year-old white man with a gun was here firing at officers. The subject was then shot by an officer. He later died at the hospital because of his injuries. Now, Raymond Road at Brittany Place, as we mentioned, currently shut down. One lane is now open on Raymond Road. We will continue to update you here and on channel3000.com. Josh?
Keely, thank you. A canine track is credited with helping police arrest a man who threatened to shoot people last night. Madison police say the man was pulling a gun out of his jacket, pointing it at people, threatening to shoot. Now, this happened at Gene Park's Place near the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County just before 7 o'clock. When officers got there, the man ran away. A canine track found him within an hour. A 47-year-old man is dead after reportedly attacking a woman in a home. Lodi police officers were sent to Sunset Drive near Lodi High School around 6 o'clock Saturday night. A 37-year-old woman told police the man she lives with attacked her and choked her. Police say she was able to get out of the house, but then heard what sounded like a gunshot. The man was found dead from a suspected gunshot wound. Lodi police are still investigating. Madison police are looking for the driver who they say shot a hole into a woman's car while driving on the Beltline. It happened around 8:30 near Fish Hatchery Road Saturday night. A 52-year-old woman is driving westbound when she says she heard a single gunshot and noticed a hole in one of her windows. Right now, the only information Madison police have is that the car involved is small and dark-colored. Police say a woman who might have dementia is missing this morning. 67-year-old Amy Rupnow went missing around 1 p.m. yesterday on High Point Road. She was walking with her caregiver near Kids Express Childcare when she tripped over some branches in the woods. Her caregiver went to get help, but when they came back, Rupnow was gone. If you see her, you're asked to call Madison Police. California's governor is declaring a statewide emergency as wildfires continue to wreak havoc on residents and wildlife. Hurricane-force winds are fueling the wildfires. Thousands are under evacuation orders, and right now crews are working to keep the Kincaid fire from jumping Highway 101 and hitting an area that hasn't been burned in 80 years.
Forecast this morning calls for cloudy skies. Temperatures holding nearly steady through the day, only in the low 40s, so it's going to be a chilly day. Alert day in the forecast for tomorrow morning. We're looking at the first accumulating snow of the season. 1 to 3 inches for southern Wisconsin will come overnight tonight. It will end early on Tuesday, but will likely impact tomorrow morning's commute.
Hattie, thank you. Dallas police are investigating a shooting that happened after the vigil for Kevin Berry, one of the people shot and killed in a shooting at a homecoming party in Greenville. It happened Saturday night. Witnesses at last night's shooting say they heard dozens of gunshots. No one is injured, but several cars are damaged. Berry was a 23-year-old dad of 2 with another baby on the way. President Trump is celebrating the death of ISIS leader al-Baghdadi, but an American general says the fight is far from over. The president said in an address to the nation that the terrorist group's leader died in a raid led by American commandos in northeastern Syria. The violent raid took about 4.5 hours and ended in al-Baghdadi's death. We expect to learn more about the ongoing efforts to fix Boeing's troubled jets and how the company is working to make them safer. The company's CEO, Dennis Muhlenberg, is set to testify on Capitol Hill tomorrow and Wednesday. He'll be grilled on the company's ongoing efforts to fix the grounded 737 MAX planes. Now, this will be Muhlenberg's first public hearing since 2 MAX jets crashed and killed 346 people just months apart. It is a big day for members of the United Auto Workers across the country. They're headed back to the factories this morning after the 40-day strike against GM came to an end on Friday. Factories in Flint and Saginaw are expected to be running full-staffed at their shift change this morning. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is blaming Parliament for Britain not leaving the European Union on time. The EU is agreeing to delay Brexit until January 31st. The departure would have been due in just 3 days on October 31st. This is the second time the deadline has changed since the 2016 referendum on Britain's departure from the EU. You get a say in the search for the next person in charge of Madison schools this week. The district is hosting 2 community input sessions as they look for the next superintendent. Dr. Jane Belmore has served as intern superintendent this year after Jennifer Cheatham stepped down at the end of last school year. The Houston Astros are 1 win away from winning the World Series. They beat the Washington Nationals 7-1 last night. Game 6 takes place tomorrow at Houston's Minute Maid Park. The Nationals need to come out on top to force a 7th game. The Badgers are waking up another 5 spots lower in the AP rankings this morning after losing to Ohio State this weekend. They dropped to 18th in the country. The Badgers are off this week and are back in Madison to play Iowa on November 9th. The Packers are heading into the week with another win under their belt. The Packers and Chiefs are both dealt with missing pieces. No Devontae Adams for the Packers, and Kansas City was missing their starting quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. Green Bay had a 14-0 lead, but after some missed tackles, the Chiefs were able to tie it up twice. In the end, Packers come out on top. Final score 31-24. 6:57 now. Jason Stone has a final look at your First Alert traffic. Hi, Jason.
Hello. Brake lights are popping up on the westbound Beltline from Stoughton Road to Monona Drive. All other lanes are at the posted speed limit. And no issues on John Nolan heading downtown. Expect routine wait times at the intersections. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Jason, thank you. Live look at the commute times on a Monday morning. And Hattie, I would imagine it's going to be a little different tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so, with some snow in the forecast. But this morning, shouldn't have any troubles getting to work weather-wise. It's just a cloudy start to the day. Temperatures aren't going to move too far, topping only in the low 40s. Again, snow spreading in overnight.
All right, Hattie, thank you. And thanks for joining us, everyone. Some good news. Leah Linscheid is back with us tomorrow morning. We're looking forward to that. Make it a great day.